All right, guys, so welcome back to the Reset channel. Let's see what's happened since last time you guys were here. We took all the lights back off, and I made a little bit more room in the fender because once I ran up and flexed this thing out, it was hitting the fender. So made a little more room for the tire, removed the sway bar permanently. So we're actually just about to take it out for its first drive with the missing sway bar, and we're going to see how that goes. Because, yeah. Well, we're going to see how that goes. Maybe I'll be trying to find a way to put that sway bar back on. I don't know. Anyway, I know I said I was doing all of this build myself, and that was the plan. But ran into a little issue, and it's mainly time. Like I said, the parts came in while I was out on the road, and there's no way that I have enough time, because I wouldn't have time to do what needs done this weekend. So this thing wouldn't get touched until like the 14th, and I have to have it done by the 1st. And I'm sure you can see how that doesn't work, just because there's so much left to do. So I am going to have a shop take it over for part of it. I'm doing most of it still myself. All they're doing is putting in, well, you'll see. I've found a couple problems, and I'm going to address most of them, but with timelines and whatnot. And then once you see the parts they're doing, you'll understand why I'm having them do a tiny bit more. But I'm still doing most of it myself. Anyway, this thing's been sitting for 2.5 weeks. And she still fires right back up. So, anyway, I'm gonna sit here, let her warm up for a little bit, and then we're gonna take her out for the first drive without the sway bars, and I'll see you soon. And there's the Suburban dropped off. So, getting a little bit of work done. It's gonna sit there for, unfortunately, about 2 weeks, because I gotta go all the way to Georgia, and all the way back, and all the way to Wyoming, and all the way back, and then I can pick it up. So since it's gonna sit there for 2 weeks, I'm gonna have them knock out a couple jobs that I could do myself, but A, they're already gonna be in there having everything torn apart, and B, they're gonna have the truck for 2 weeks, and as I've said many times, I'm on a time crunch. Like I'm on a time crunch. So anyway, it's dropped off, and when I pick it back up, I'll show you what was done, which is going to be weird because I'm filming today on the 1st, but we're not going to see this until like the 14th or the 15th. So I'll see you then. Well, I guess I nailed that pretty good, huh? I said that I would not see this until the 14th, and oh wait, no. Pretty sure today's the 15th. I don't know. I'll have to look at the calendar. Today is Saturday, and it's either the 14th or the 15th. I don't remember. I've been running a wee bit hard. So, little update on this thing. I'm glad that I wound up having them do work to it instead of trying to rush it myself. So here's what happened. Starting at the back, we have, as you can see, a new brake line and an air line. And going up to the front, we have new brake lines on both sides, and just like the rear, a new air line. And we have a new steering box and a new pitman arm and a new drag link and tie rod, and it turns out there was a lot of things that were shot. A lot of things had been broken and welded back together, and I had one caliper that was completely froze up and wasn't moving. So I've got new calipers, new brake line. I knew I needed brake lines. I knew I was having them do the brake lines. And the only reason I was having them do the brake lines is because I wanted them to do the differentials. That is one of the few things I've never worked on mechanically, is setting up a ring and pinion. So with this getting new carriers, new ring and pinions, new races, new bearings, new everything, and that being something I had never done before, and the first time this thing drives, aside from today when I drove it home from the shop, is going to be what is that, about 1,200 mile trip with my family in it. So with something I'd never done, I wanted a shop to do that. So they did. Oh, and there's a ARB air compressor right there. Anyway, I wanted a shop to do that, and they did. And I said, well, since you guys are going to be in there, why don't you go ahead and slap in some new brake lines, just because you're already in there, right? Like, you have to take all that stuff apart to get the axles out to put the carriers in. So why should I have you take it apart and put it back together so I can take it apart to put a new brake line on, right? Makes sense. And there was one other thing that they were doing. Differentials and brake lines. No, I think that was it. Differentials and brake lines. And then they found all the other stuff. The steering box was only being held in by one bolt. The tie rod and drag links were, they'd been cracked or bent or whatever. I was kind of halfway paying attention when they were talking because it sounded expensive as it was going through. And they ended up replacing all that, which did cost me a lot more. A lot more. They were going to cut holes and put in some hook mounts, D-ring mounting points. And they were going to put gussets in to the bumper. So now I will have to do that myself, or I know a few people that have welders. Be a good spot for me to learn, right? Now, I've welded a little, but I'm not good. Anyway, we're making some progress on this thing finally. The biggest parts are done. It could go right now. It is ready. I've done enough that it is ready. But I've got a lot more coming. I've got a lot more work to do on the interior. Some of it creature comfort, some of it aesthetically pleasing. And, we got to get that done. And I've got a lot of exterior work to do, and everything has been ordered. Everything is either in my house or on its way here. So, I take that back. I'd need to do a transmission and engine fluid change. Then I have everything. I don't have oil filters and trans filters and all that here, but it's right over there. So, not worried about that. I don't need to order that, wait for it to come in, right? I just walk over there and grab it. It's small block Chevy stuff. So, that's it. She's got lockers, and they are controlled off of that panel, along with the lights that you guys saw a couple videos ago. So, BOA is coming along. We're making some progress. And the next video, I had intended to finish up that interior stuff in this video, but with them finding everything that they found, and they wound up having to have the truck for longer than originally anticipated, just because of, believe me, I was very upset. And I went over there and started having words with not the owner, but the manager. And I don't know if he was just lying to me, trying to make me feel better, or if he was being legit. But either way, it worked. I calmed down. I'm still not happy with how things went, but I'm way back down from irate. So that's good. And everything made sense when he talked to me as such. So let's hope I have enough time, because I am scheduled out on a couple loads. So let's hope I have enough time to get this thing finished in everything that I want to do, not just everything it needs. And it'll be ready for the big trip coming up very soon. Anyway, I have to wash the truck. She's packed up, she's ready to go. And then I have to do the video clip for the other channel, which entails that one. So I'm gonna end this video here, and next time I come home, we'll be diving into this thing, finishing the interior, and hopefully blowing it apart, because once I finish the interior, the next step is paint. So here we go. Let's get after it. I'll see you guys on the next episode.